internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world. XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over SWIFT one day?
And someone at the back stood up and said, this doesn't matter at all because you're all going to be put out of business by Ripple. And I'd never heard of Ripple at the time. And I thought, and they said, SWIFT is going to be put out of business by Ripple. And I thought, that's quite handy. I'll phone up SWIFT and see what they think. That'll make a good story for the paper. And SWIFT said, actually, we're taking this really seriously. We think it could affect us in lots of ways. And they were publishing white papers. They still are publishing white papers. That's as far as they've got.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours of Crypto. Let's get right into today's episode. Okay, this is it. This is going to give you that bigger picture where Ripple started and where Ripple is today and why Swift knew Ripple was a huge competitor to them and pretty much a clash occurred between Ripple and Swift. And I'm going to lay down everything right in front of you. And the best part about this, the CEO of Swift at the time pretty much told us exactly what they were waiting for. And guess what? XRP is now positioned for exactly what he stated. This is going to completely blow your mind, and I guarantee you, you are going to enjoy every second of this video. I made this about almost 2 years ago, and what was said here, it's absolutely monumental. But also keep in mind that the value of XRP at the time was 61 cents. So you're going to see 61 cents presented on the screen for a little bit. But currently, XRP is trading at $3.25. XRP is not a speculative token. We XRP investors are not speculators. We are researchers that understand the value of XRP is going to go to $100 100% because we have done the research. This video, even if you don't really know much about it, should really tell you exactly how big XRP and Ripple is and what is being designed and what has been designed now, and we are about to see it fully roll out. The SC versus Ripple case is over. Chris Larson, Brad Garlinghouse, they didn't come out here and say anything yet. There is something coiling up right now that is going to send XRP flying. And listen, all my OGs know I don't hype when I say stuff like this. The value of XRP has been maintaining above $3. Very bullish. I think we're going to be testing the 333 again. And then the potential, we got to break through a lot of volume 3 to 337, okay? We got to hit a lot of volume, blast through 337 right here, right? You could see it as playing support many times on the 8-hour clock right here, right? We got to fly past this, folks. And right now I have many longs open. This whole crypto ecosystem is about to completely blow up. And like I said, I'm catching this XRP long when it goes to $4, $5, $6, $10, folks. And if you guys want to take advantage of the deposit bonuses, the links are in the description down below. But try to understand this. Even listen to what Monica Long said about liquidity. This is pretty much what we tell you on this channel. And we tell you how this is going to give value to XRP. When the stablecoin ecosystem has over $3 trillion in market capitalization, right now it's in the billions, XRP's market cap is going to be much higher than $3 trillion just to absorb that kind of volume and that kind of liquidity, that depth in the market, those order books.
The second key thing is, I think, liquidity. So you think about FX markets in 2024, there was upwards of $200 trillion in FX volumes, but in stablecoin volumes, it was like $25 trillion, mostly through speculative trading. So the next challenge that we have as an industry is to now create the breadth and depth of liquidity for stablecoins across key currency pairs like AED and others.
And let's go ahead and do it. And we are going to reveal to you today that Swift pretty much said Ripple is a bank. And I'm going to tell you my reasonings why in a moment. But first, I'm going to go over some very mind-blowing information in regards to Ripple and Swift and where this all started. And I'm going to show you guys some video footage back from 2019 that you guys are going to be very interested in watching. I'm going to give you guys little clips, but I recommend you guys go watch the full episode. I'll leave the link in the description down below. But body language, the way these individuals are going at it, and they even knew that this may get a little heated. So just take a listen to the way this started.
All right. Excited for this panel. This is going to be very interesting discussion, debate. We've encouraged lively, respectful debate here with both of you. Encouraged lively, respectful debate here with both of you. Great lineup. Great to have you both on stage. I believe for the first time appearing together here.
Yes.
So we have Godfrey Liebrandt, CEO of Swift, and Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple.
So she starts it off by saying, let's be respectful. And in a moment, I'll show you what happened. Things got a little heated, and you could tell the Swift CEO at the time pretty much was acting like his shit don't stink. And it's pretty disturbing when you guys watch the full video. You guys will know exactly what I mean. But Ripple and Swift go way back.
And in 2016, it was held in Singapore. And so we had some of our people there as well. And all the crowds were at Ripple in Sibos. And so Swift was looking at this going, what the hell? But the following year, they banned Ripple from being there.
So they never invited Ripple back. So here's the article in 2016. Swift kicks off Sibos by unveiling blockchain contest winners. And Ripple was also there. Distributed ledger startup Ripple had partnered with 6 global banks to build a network capable of almost instantly settling a transaction. And in 2017, Ripple started their own little conference, the Sibos Killer. Distributed ledger startup Ripple is ramping up its competition with banking service provider Swift by launching a rival conference this fall. Can you imagine that? That's some ballsy stuff. And they did it on the same day in the same city in Toronto as Swift's flagship event in Sibos. And what ended up happening was everybody that wanted to go to Sibos ended up going to Ripple Swell. And of course, Swift wasn't happy with that. So Ripple CEO had to come out and defend that they weren't trying to hijack Sibos with their blockchain event on the same day. Wink, wink. But this gets very deep. We talked about JP Morgan being heavily involved in Ripple and XRP being chased after. Well, in today's video, we got some more evidence of the top guns on the chair of Swift. Okay, are you guys ready for this? So here's a little picture snippet from Ripple Swell in 2017. But take a look at this. Where do I even begin? You guys are about to get completely mind blown. Let's play this clip. This is where the Swift CEO, they're talking about how they need deep liquidity. They don't have deep liquidity and calls XRP pretty much volatile, how banks won't adopt a cryptocurrency yet because there's too much volatility. And he states there isn't deep liquidity. This goes hand in hand with what Tyrone Lobin said about them adopting USDC, because how are you going to have $10 trillion? How are you going to be able to handle $10 trillion? Right? Come on, folks. This is beautiful.
Banks are also, at least when they talk to us, they may tell you different things. They are hesitant to convert things into a currency, a cryptocurrency right now, because of the volatility in the currencies, because of the fact that you don't have the deep liquidity that you have in, for example, the dollar as a clearing unit at the end of the day.
So when I talk about the $10 trillion that we're processing every night, and if you think about having to fully reserve $10 trillion to be able to make those payments every day, that's a lot of liquidity that you're taking out of the system.
If you think about the number of different currencies and how much liquidity needs to be available to make those transactions, it becomes less and less efficient.
And liquidity is sort of the secret sauce to making that work.
Because there simply often isn't enough liquidity there. And when I say liquidity, what I mean is depth of the market. It means that if I want to now send 100 Swiss francs, maybe I'll find 100 Swiss francs for euros, for pounds. Maybe I'll find a counterparty. But if I want to send 100 million, I may not find a counterparty. So there isn't enough liquidity, maybe, between Swiss francs and pounds for me to send $100 million every day. But there may be more liquidity if we pool all of our liquidity into one type of currency. Once you pool all that liquidity, you can create more efficient pricing structures.
The banks are also, at least when they talk to us, they may tell you different things. They are hesitant to convert things into a currency, a cryptocurrency right now, because of the volatility in the currencies, because of the fact that you don't have the deep liquidity that you have in, for example, the dollar as a clearing unit at the end of the day. So again, when we engage banks, we don't find them ready for a model where you convert it into crypto and then convert it back, and that has to do with many things: regulation, volatility, and all the things that are being debated around crypto. But that's a whole separate debate.
This is, well, it's not really a separate debate because I think there's
debated around crypto, but that's a whole separate debate.
This is, well, it's not really a separate debate because I think there's two important things about this, and Gottfried mentioned this earlier. SWIFT today is a one-way messaging framework. It actually isn't a liquidity provider, right? It's Swift messaging partnered with bank liquidity. When we think about an Internet of Value, it's a mixture of two-way messaging frameworks, moving to real-time, a chatty protocol, if you will, coupled with real-time liquidity. Volatility is just a mathematical calculation of time times volatility. If you hold fiat for, let's say, an average SWIFT transaction today is in the order of magnitude 2 days, that's about 180,000 seconds. An XRP transaction is 3 seconds. So if you take a low volatile asset times a long duration, fiat, or a high volatility asset versus a very, very short amount of time, it turns out mathematically there's less volatility risk in an XRP transaction than there is in a fiat transaction.
Right now, JP Morgan is using the dollar as a clearing unit, right? So once Ripple is the enterprise that provides the deepest liquidity, then they're going to have to become a bank, because a bank also offers line of credits. So does Ripple. I mean, we'll go into that more in depth, but in the future, Ripple is a threat to the banks and PSPs. That is why JP Morgan and Swift are heavily, heavily involved in this. This is going to shock you guys. Are you guys ready for this? Take a look at the previous chairman at Swift, Citibank and JP Morgan. 20 years at JP Morgan, 16 years, 15 years at Citi, 16 years at Swift. The current chairman of JP Morgan is, I mean, you can't make this up. Graham Monroe has been at JP Morgan for 35 years. And if you guys are new to my channel, I've made videos in regards to JP Morgan going after Ripple since day one. And I'll leave that link in the description down below. You guys got to check it out. But the fact that the chairman of Swift, JP Morgan executives, for the past at least 10 years is insane to me, okay? This just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And here we are. Let's get into some of these video clips here with the ex-CEO of Swift and Brad Garlinghouse in 2019. And just take a look at the tensity. It was so tense in there. And in 2024, we know Ripple has won the race. It's game over. Swift doesn't have a solution to their problems. The only solution to their problems and speeding up their infrastructure is by implementing and utilizing RippleNet technology. That may be directly or indirectly, but they still will 100%. Listen to this clip in regards to Ripple taking over. Can they take over Swift?
So you've said before that you think there's a world where Ripple could take over Swift.
Well, I've also said I thought there was ways we could work with Swift.
Let's talk about that.
Well, I'll start that comment just by saying, look, Swift is owned, I mean, I think Gottfried, by the way, has a very challenging job. Swift is owned by the banks. It isn't a traditionally kind of construct. You have a very strong chairman, and in-house Citi kind of as an important stakeholder in that. But at the end of the day, Ripple's trying to help financial institutions and banks be successful in the future, just to be clear.
Gottfried, how do you feel about a partnership with Ripple?
Well, first, we can negotiate it here.
Let's do that.
I mean, he was not having it at all. The Swift CEO, he doesn't even care. And then here we are talking about KYC.
And that's why we regulate the financial industry. That's why we have central banks. That's why we have lenders of last resort. That's why we have the SEC on securities to make sure that securities offerings are true to value. They say what they do, etc. None of that exists in the crypto world, and I think that is
none of that exists in the crypto world.
I think that's an issue. None of that exists in the crypto world, and I think that is
none of that exists in the crypto world.
I think that's an issue. It's an issue. It's an issue.
I don't know how we can say none of that exists in the crypto world. I don't know how we can say none of that exists in the crypto world. I don't know how we can say none of that exists in the crypto world. Every Ripple transaction is going through a regulated endpoint to a regulated endpoint.
So it just goes to show you that, you know, we only see a little bit from panel videos and Zoom meetings that may pop up, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much events that are taking place behind the scenes right now, and when the value of XRP rises, I mean, that's when people are going to find out what's actually about to happen. But everybody's involved. JP Morgan, Citibank, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, DTCC, Swift, the IMF, BRICS, Ripple is involved everywhere. That may sound crazy, but if you know, you know.
My name is Marjan de Latin. I joined Ripple actually 10 months ago, and I used to work for Swift for more than a decade because I joined Ripple to disrupt. And I think that's the main objective of the Ripple.
They're everywhere. You're not stopping this train. It's gone. And all the individuals that have been accumulating for the past years, you guys will be rewarded very handsomely. New individuals, new retail investors onboarding right now, they don't have thousands of dollars just to throw into XRP. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and we'll be back with another video.
You know, at the end of the day, obviously, you know, a good product, good service that solves a real world problem, provides real utility. It's not just about speculation and get rich quick and pumping up the price of crypto. I mean, all these things will line up. I think they're starting to line up. I see the companies are really stepping up.
Things that might go wrong. Because I don't want anybody watching at home or in the room to be like, wow, the BIS Visa, and they think that the world's just awesome and you know, Ripple's going to solve it. But obviously, this is a hard problem.
They told us dream small, but we had the stars in mind. While they chased hype, we studied time. In the noise we found the signal. Brad knew just what to do. Now XRP hums like jazz, running smooth and true. Money's changing, systems bend. Ripple flowing to the end. Truth is quiet, bold and deep. We salute the ones who lose no sleep. Salute to the minds that built this chain. Salute, salute through the trials, through the pain. Salute, salute to the calm, to the wise. Salute 100 in our eyes. Bitcoin maxis yell on stage, stuck in loops they call belief, while XRPL just clears the way. No delay, no grief. They hoard coins like dusty gold, but we got utility in every fold. The future ain't loud, it's steady breathing. Real ones know what's worth believing. It ain't hype, it's code and soul. We salute the ones who see the whole. Salute to the builders, to the flow. Here's to the signal, clear and bright. To the dreamers who held on tight. No matter the storm, no matter the fight. Salute, we rise with the light.
With the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch.
I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.